Hey everybody, it's me Jamy from CoachJamy.com, and for those of you that don't know, I am the founder of Team Dynamic Dynasty. We are a team of BeachBody coaches, and I'm also the founder of the Fit Family Tribe. So I talk to people every day, a lot of people, a lot of different people every day, and I see that a lot of people struggle with confidence. And they may not tell me, but it's in the things they say, it's in the way they act, it's in their body language. And the reason I know this and I can sense this is a couple things. Number one, I was a communication major and I studied a lot of interpersonal communication and a lot of body language communication and things like that, and tone of voice and speaking, and so many things I learned in that degree. But I also struggled and still sometimes struggle with my own confidence. And so that's why I'm here today. I want to help give you the tips and tools and understanding that has taken me so long to finally figure out. I mean, really, I haven't been feeling as confident as I am now until the last 6 or 7 months or so. I mean, this is all very new because I would fake it. I faked being confident for a long time in my different roles in my jobs, and I have dealt with social anxiety and so bad. I have dealt with huge nerves, with depression, with feelings of failure, feelings of judgment, fears, like huge fears that people are going to think less of me, that people aren't going to love me, that people are going to say bad things about me and judge me, and all of that. I've struggled with it. I have struggled with it, and it really goes back to when I was 6 years old and my biological father told me on the phone that he couldn't be my dad anymore, and that was the last conversation I had with him. So from that point forward, I mean, I'm 6, right? But still, my entire life, I've always wondered, like, what did I do wrong, and why wasn't I good enough? So I think about that in every situation. And I would go, to parties or to work events, and I literally would come home and lay in bed for hours, sometimes the entire night into the morning, and never get any sleep. And I'd be replaying conversations, you know, I said this word wrong. I think this word means something else, and I used it out of context. And um, did they know that I was nervous? Did they like me? Did they understand what I was trying to say? Did they understand that I have a good heart? And I might have said something and it might have sounded really mean, and I did not mean to say something like that sounded mean. And, did they think I was mean? Because I really am not mean. I'm really nice. And do they know that I'm nice? Do they know that I love them? Do they know that I'm cool? Like, do they think I'm weird? Do they think that I'm like a goofball and they're just humoring me and they're just being nice to me because they're nice people? Like, do they like me? I mean, literally, I would spend hours and hours and hours worrying about what people thought of me. I mean, it really took so much energy, and it is debilitating in a way. And I mean, I would get depressed. I would be anxious. It has really, really hurt me in a lot of different ways. And I want you to know that I've been there. So I'm not just telling you all this stuff just because, I think somebody needs to hear this and this is, whatever. I'm telling you because I do think people need to hear this, but it's because I want to help you. I want you to find your purpose in life. I want you to have a life that's fulfilled, that is fulfilling, that is a purpose-filled life. I truly believe that God gives us our dreams and our visions because that all helps us find our purpose. And if we are stuck in fear and self-doubt, if we are stuck in that place, we can't move forward. And we can't achieve that greatness that God has planned for us. We can't find our purpose if we don't get out of our own way, if we don't get out of our own head. If we continue to have those fears and let those fears and self-doubts debilitate us and keep us from achieving all that we were meant to achieve, like, that kind of stinks. I mean, let's be honest, that's not cool, right? That's not what God had intended for us. So the reason I decided to do this group, this is the first time I've ever done a group like this, and the reason I decided to do it is because I finally am feeling so much better. I finally am feeling so much more confident, and I want you to feel the same way. I finally feel like I'm on the right path, that God is leading me to something, whatever He has laid out for me, and I feel really good about it, and I feel really confident, and I can go into situations now, into social situations, and not worry as much. Every once in a while I still worry, but then I catch myself because it's kind of still like ingrained in me. But I can go and come home and not replay those conversations, and I will try on one outfit and go with it and not worry. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I have saved myself so much time. I can fall asleep. I've never been able to fall asleep within like 5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes. I don't have the fears and the anxiety running through my head and the constant worrying. I don't have any of that anymore. And I think it's because of all this personal development I've been doing and all of this work on my confidence. I really do. And this week, I want to share all that with you. So the number one thing I want you to take away from all of this is I want you to know that you can change this too. You can be more confident. You can get those thoughts out of your head. You can feel more comfortable in social situations. You can. I promise. You can. And I'm going to help you with that. This week I'm going to help you with that. And even though you can do it, I want you to know it's going to take work. Just like losing weight, just like getting in shape, just like trying to eat healthy, just like learning a new skill or dropping a bad habit. All of that stuff takes work. The same thing needs to happen with your confidence and feeling better about yourself and about your future. And that takes work. So, what is first? First, you have to understand where all of this comes from. Why is this happening to you? What is all of this related to? And how to make these changes permanent. Okay? Those are some things that you need to understand, that you are able to make them permanent, but how? And why? Like I said, life is so much better when you can get out of your own head, when you can stop being so anxious and stop having so much fear and self-doubt. Life is so much better. It feels better when you have more confidence and when you can have a conversation without worrying about what they're thinking about you, and instead worrying about how they're feeling and are they okay, and kind of reversing it in a way. And worrying about all this stuff is so stressful. It's taking so much of your energy. All that energy can be used towards creating a better life, towards thinking about what your dreams and aspirations are and your goals, and working towards achieving them. So you can use the energy and the time that you waste, I hate to say it, but you're wasting time worrying about all this stuff, and shift that to building a life by design, building something better for yourself, working out, eating right. You can start focusing on dropping bad habits. You can start focusing on your family and developing a better relationship with your spouse. I mean, there's so many other things that you can shift this energy towards. So that's why we're here. That's what we want to get to. We want to get to that point, right? Are you with me? So today I'm going to go over 5 tips that you can start doing right now that are going to help you to feel more confident, okay? So tip number 1, you got to drop the label. Okay, And what I mean by that is we tend to label ourselves in different ways. And 98% of the labels we give ourselves or we call ourselves, like shy, like socially awkward, like nervous in public, nervous around other people, those kind of negative labels are because somebody labeled us that when we were kids. Like our parents said, oh, this is my outgoing social butterfly daughter, and this is my shy daughter. This is my my superstar, athlete son, and this is my brainiac, socially awkward son. Our parents, like unbeknownst to them, and not in a bad way, they didn't think it was a bad thing, but they're just kind of telling which child was which. And we might find ourselves doing that with our own kids. So we might think about maybe shifting that a little bit when we talk about our own kids. I call Dylan gifted, and so I don't know, like maybe I should just say he's my son. This is my son, this is my daughter. And not try to label them, because I don't want them to grow up with labels. I want them to be able to achieve whatever they want to achieve, right? So we need to drop those labels, because if you think about it, specifically with the word shy, okay? When you're 6 years old, 9 years old, being shy is cute. It's so cute. Oh, she's so shy. The poor thing. Like, she's so sweet. Let's hug her and let's make her feel better, right? But when you're an adult and you're in a social setting or you're in a work setting, being shy, it's not cute. And it's not going to advance your career. It's not going to advance you socially, or it's not going to help you win friends. I hate to say it, but shy adults, they make people feel uncomfortable. They make people feel uncomfortable. So if you're labeling yourself shy, I want you to change it to formally shy. I'm formally shy. I'm not shy anymore. I'm good now. I'm formally shy. I'm formally socially awkward. Now, socially awkward. So think about this. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and they're like this? Or they're on their phone and they're like texting, or they're like this? It makes people feel weird. It makes people feel like so uncomfortable. So if you stop calling yourself shy and calling yourself socially awkward and thinking of yourself as those things, and start thinking of yourself as formally, then guess what happens? All of your behaviors start to change. Because now all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, maybe I'm not shy. I don't know what I am, but maybe I'm not shy. And when you start to change the way you think, your thoughts create your reality. So when you start thinking that you're formally shy, your reality is going to be that you're formally shy. You're not shy anymore because you're already thinking, wait a second, you're right, I don't need to be shy. I don't need to be awkward in public. Okay? So once you start to think like that, then you're going to start to see people's reactions towards you changing, and you're going to see that when people are reacting to you more positively, you're going to feel better. And it's going to just continue to help boost your confidence even more. So start to think about that. Number 2, you need to understand your personality style. So your assignment today is going to finish this video, but also you're going to do a little research on what your personality style is. You're going to take like a little quiz or something and figure out what your personality style is. Because once you understand that, then you can realize that that shy label, that socially awkward label, might be something else, might be something totally different. And like introvert or extrovert. And once you start to understand the difference between shyness and being introverted, maybe you can start to realize that, wait, I'm not shy. I'm just introverted. I just get my energy from being alone, from reading a book. That's where I get my energy. I can still be in a social setting and still have a positive communication with somebody, but then I need to remove myself, which is fine, remove myself early, leave early from a party or whatever, but still be nice about it and be like, okay guys, see you later, and then go home and read a book and meditate or take a bath or just be alone. Some people, there are shy people that are extrovert where they get energy around crowds. So they may not talk to anybody. They may be really nervous to talk to people but they want to be around people. They just want to, because they love the energy. They love hearing all the conversations. They love the feeling of people having fun and people being all around them. They get their excitement. And when they go home, they don't feel like reading a book. They're like bored. And they're like, oh, this isn't good. I need to be around people. But they don't know how to have conversations with people because they don't feel as confident. So if they felt more confident, then they could have a totally different experience and they could actually enjoy that energy even more. So once you start to understand the differences and to see that the shyness, you don't need to be shy. You can be introverted and it's okay to be introverted. So once we understand that, we can start to become our best selves. We can start to make those changes, okay? So number 3, all right, you need to change your body language, okay? And I'm going to say this first. I was taught never to cross your arms. Never to cross your arms because that puts a block between you and the person that you're talking to. That's what I was taught. But I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with it as long as you're smiling. Because that's the first thing I want to tell you. You need to smile. As weird as it feels. Because there's some people that are like this. Or they're like this. I can't even make all the different faces because I smile all the time. But you've heard of resting, we'll call it resting mean face because I don't want to say the B word, but resting face. You know what I'm talking about. Where people, their resting face, they're just the way their face lays when they're not smiling is just, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know how to do it, but I can see it. So y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So, you know how uncomfortable, when you're in a situation with somebody that has that facial expression, you know how uncomfortable that is, right? That is so uncomfortable. So I want you to focus on trying to smile more. Because when you smile, you start to feel better. And then you help others to feel better. And you kind of like dissolve that tension. So when people have like they're not smiling, whatever their face is, the facial expression, that makes other people feel weird and feel uncomfortable. So when you start to change that in yourself and you start to smile more, and that is just going to open up lines of communication. So the other thing that you can do is to open up your body language. Don't sit back and be like on your phone, because literally nobody is going to want to talk to you if you aren't even looking at them. You got to look at them and you got to be open and you have to be, hey, I'm here. Let's go. I'm open to conversation. I don't want to make you feel weird. I want you to feel good and welcome because I'm a nice person and I want to get to know people and I want to have friends. So I need to open up my lines of communication. Smile, open up your body language, talk, just open yourself up. I hope that makes sense. So by changing your body language, that will help others to feel more comfortable. And when others feel more comfortable, they will be more receptive to having a conversation with you, which will make you feel more confident because, hey, they want to talk to me. So, wow, they want to talk to me. Okay, so things are cool. We're good. Okay. Tip number 4, improve how you communicate. Now, how you communicate. Okay, so you're talking to people, you're opening up, you're smiling. but what you say and how you say it. So there is a difference. Sometimes people say, I don't want to be more confident because I don't want people to think that I'm a jerk or I'm arrogant. No, 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 no. There is a total difference between confidence and arrogance, right? Think about it. An arrogant person is like kind of mean, and you really don't want to be around them because they're not really that nice. And they only talk about themselves. And they go on and on and on and on. And the things that they say is just, I don't know, I just get this weird feeling. So you know that feeling. When you're around somebody who's actually arrogant, you really don't want to be around that person. So you're like, ugh. But a confident person, somebody who's like nice and asks questions about you. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and you walk away and you go to your spouse or your best friend, you're like, man, I really like that person. Gosh, she's so awesome. Oh my gosh, they're like, wow, tell me about her. What was she like? What does she do? Whatever. You're like, I don't know. I don't really know much about her. You know what? I really didn't get to know her that well. But she was so nice. It was probably because that person was asking you a lot of questions about yourself. So confident people are like the opposite of shy, right? So they're nice and they make you feel welcome and they make you feel important and they make you feel like you matter. That's what I want. I want you to be that person. I want you to help to make other people feel better about themselves. And so the way you do that is by asking questions about them. So you can go and Google, questions to ask other people in social settings or whatever, and come up with a list of questions so that whenever you're in, like for instance, this weekend is Easter. So this upcoming weekend is Easter, and you are going to probably be around friends and family, and I want your homework for one of your homework things for this week is not for today, but for this whole week is to come up with a list of questions to ask people. What do you do for work? Where did you grow up? What are you planning for a summer trip? What trip are you planning for this summer? Where are your kids going to go to school? What do your kids do? What do they do for fun? What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? Have you ever been to one of those paint and wine places? I just went to one of those places recently. Start to think about questions and write them down and be ready to ask them what do they like to do, and start to ask them questions and use it as practice and practice talking to people and asking questions, because that's going to make you feel better because they're going to be responsive. They'll respond because everybody loves to talk about themselves. Right? So when you are getting them to talk about themselves, they start lightening up, and then you feel better because they're giving you better communication, body language, right? They're smiling, they're leaning in, they're opening themselves up, they're giving you better body language. So that's going to make you feel better because you're going to realize that you're helping them to feel more comfortable. Does that make sense? The other thing I want to say about this is don't be the negative Nancy. Don't be the Debbie Downer. Be the positive Polly. Take your negative stuff that's happening and turn it into something positive. So it's okay to be self-deprecating. Like, I'm not any good at that, blah, 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 whatever. But let me tell you what I am good at, and da-da-da-da-da, and turn it around and make it positive. It's okay to say one little or two little things just to kind of break any ice, or just to be funny or whatever. Like a little bit of self-deprecation is kind of funny, but when you go on and on and on, then it makes people feel uncomfortable. So don't go on and on and on about the negative stuff. At some point, stop yourself and be like, oh, I gotta say something positive, and then turn it around to something positive, okay? So don't be a Debbie Downer. And genuinely be interested in other people. And stop apologizing. This is another thing about communication. And this is something that I've been so guilty of. Like, so guilty of. I apologize all the time. I've gotten much better. I've definitely gotten much better. But when you're apologizing, it makes other people feel uncomfortable. And if you continue to apologize and apologize, it just makes you look less confident. And then you feel less confident because you're like, oh my gosh, I have to apologize for this. No, you don't. Confident people don't apologize all the time. They'll say sorry when it's like when they're supposed to say they're sorry. But just because you walked into a room, don't apologize because you walked into the room. You walk into the room and somebody's talking and be like, oh, if you have a chance, I wanted to give you, I wanted to catch your attention. Okay, see you later. Don't be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. See the difference? You walk in the room and you see people are talking and you're like, oh, hey, I see you guys are talking. I wanted to grab a second with you whenever you're done. So I'll be over here whenever you're done. See the difference? There's a total difference there. So don't apologize for things that you don't need to apologize for, okay? So you might feel bad that you walked in on their conversation, but you didn't know. It's not like you did it on purpose, right? It was a total accident. You don't have to apologize for accidents, right? Okay, so stop apologizing. And then the last point about communication is your voice. Don't talk in a little girl voice or a little boy voice, okay? You gotta stop talking in these little teeny tiny voices that are really super high pitch because it makes people feel uncomfortable. You gotta drop the octave a little bit, a couple octaves. It'll give you, if you have to like roll your shoulders back and talk with more presence and talk with a deeper voice, it helps you to feel more confident, and it helps others to perceive you as more confident. So when others are perceiving you as more confident, you'll feel more confident. Does that make sense? So do you know anybody that has a super high voice and you kind of feel like they, are still like a little kid? They have like a little kid voice. Well, start to pay attention to these things and start to realize it's probably because they're not as confident as they could be. And so just start to think about that. Okay. And this leads me to tip number 5. Okay. Get out of your head and get into their heart. Now, what I mean by this is think about that person I just talked about with the little kid voice. Think about that person and think about the fact that they're not very confident. Let's say you had to have a conversation with them. Now knowing that they have that little kid voice probably because they are less confident than they could be. How would you want them to feel? Wouldn't you want to just, hug them with your emotion, like with your voice in a way? Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but wouldn't you want them to feel better? And wouldn't you want to give them the feeling of that you like them and that you're there to make them feel comfortable, and you don't want them to feel less confident. You want to help them feel more confident and feel better about themselves. So how would you treat them? And then think about another person, somebody who makes you nervous and makes you feel less confident. What's their facial expression? What's their body language? Okay? Do they have that kind of face? Do they have resting mean face? I don't know how to do a resting mean face, but you know what I'm talking about. Do they have resting mean face? Do they have that closed off body language? And it makes you feel uncomfortable, right? What did we just learn? It's probably because they're not very confident. They're self-doubt or they have fear of some sort. So the same thing applies. So using that and realizing that they're probably lacking confidence just like you are. And so realizing that you're just like, wait a second. Wow, so many more people don't have confidence like I thought they did. Like I thought that they didn't like me because they had that look. I thought that they didn't like me. But now I realize they probably could like me, but they're not confident. So maybe if I had open body language, I smiled, and I asked them questions about themselves, maybe that would all change. And maybe we would learn something. Maybe we have something in common. Maybe we could become best friends. Or not. But at least we could help each other in some way, shape, or form. Or, maybe we could at least, or even just make each other feel a little bit more comfortable when we're around each other. So start to realize these things, that so many more people than you even imagined really have confidence issues. And so I just want you to realize that this all can change. And I hope that these 5 tips, I hope that that you can now start to see that things can improve, and that maybe some of this hit home with you. I'm hoping at least something hit home with you. And I'm hoping you can walk away with something from this little talk today. And then I want you, now that we're wrapping up the video, I want you to start to look at your personality styles. Start to get to understand why you might be shy, or why you might feel fear in certain social situations. Why, whatever your personality is, I want you to start to research that and get to know that, okay? And then tomorrow, we're going to move on with something else.
Hey!
And now I'm going to get going because I've got somebody here who I need to go help. So I hope this helps you guys, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right, have a good day. Bye.